Hello the internets, welcome back. Let's talk a little bit about the priority for all of the current summer banners we have in the game, and in my opinion, which ones you should be pulling or ticketing or directly skipping, or which ones are worth going for, as many dupes as possible. That said, if you don't want to watch the whole video, which is completely fine, this is what we'll be talking about. Dupes for Cindy, ticket 1 Dorothy, and you only pull for Marcy and Alec if they are your waifus. However, Marcy and Alec are also the banners where you should use your normal pulls instead of pulling, right? Instead of ticketing, because Doro and Cindy are 1% banners. Remember that 1% banners are fucking awful. They are disgusting in terms of actually getting the character, alright? You can do 200 pulls and get nothing. So if you can, pull on Marcy or Alec, whatever you prefer there, until you have enough tickets, and then just ticket Cindy or Edoro. Or if you want to go all in into Cindy, you can. It's one of the strongest damage dealers in the game, but it's also really, really expensive. Alright, so for some comparison, and this is not even the worst you guys have seen. You guys have seen way worse on this banner. 200 pulls or so, and I've gotten one Cinderella. I ticketed the MLB. That said, let's talk a little bit about each one of those characters and why they are there. And we're gonna start with the characters at the bottom, with the waifu or raid units. When it comes to Marcy and Alec, you only pull for them if they are your waifus or it's the main element on your account, so iron or water. Now, like I said earlier, you can also pull on them to build gold tickets. A 2% will always be way better overall than a 1%. Oh, Sefhi, my friend, pulled on a 1% and he got way luckier. Yes, there will be lucky people everywhere. This is a casino, all right? We love our casinos. But as a general rule of thumb, 2% are easier to get and get dupes than it is always going to be on that 1%. So if you want to use tickets and gems, those two are better value, and then using those tickets on the 1% banners to exchange. However, obviously, they have lower priority. Like if you don't have a lot of resources, or you have enough resources to gamba, obviously Cindy will be the better character, right? Now, why I'm only recommending a copy of Doro, it's simply because the difference in power with Cinderella and nothing else. When we're talking about Cindy, it's a character that even on Harvester, she's doing more damage than my actual Doro. Like, she's a character that actually is doing more damage than my Dorothy. That's how good she is, right? So I will say yes, Doro will be used on water content always. Doro, it's a unit that 100% we will consistently see everywhere, right? When it comes to raids, because remember that even on raids, our Doro has been performing really well. So if we go here, we will be putting our Doro, if I'm not blind, and we could keep heals. Let's just put a normal crown instead of the idols. Idols do work fantastic here as well, but let's just put a normal crown in here. Now, like I said, Doro is a fantastic unit. It's a character that you could be going for dupes, but it feels like at this point, if you can afford the Cinderella MLB, it's just so much better. Like, it doesn't make sense how good she is, right? So, let's go really quickly here. Since we are using a machine gun, though, it's going to take a little bit to break the head, which is fine. Honestly, it's not even like a big problem. Usually with the Snow White, you can just break this on your first rotation, or even if you first with Doro first if you want, you can probably break these two pretty quickly. That said, you can leave it on auto afterwards until we reach the QT, so you guys can see the difference between Doro and Cindy on neutral. This is a neutral for Cindy. Obviously, my Cindy is super invested, but it doesn't really matter, right? Considering Doro is one of the strongest, the second strongest water DPS in the game after Snow White. Snow White is the only one here that's performing better than my Cindy. So while we go about that, however, the reason I recommend only ticketing one Doro, it's yes, she is strong, but Cinderella is one of the strongest DPSs in the game overall. Also, I forgot that I was just checking Marciana's ass yesterday, and I forgot to put this back on. Cinderella is one of the strongest DPSs in the game, regardless of element, right? So that's why she takes priority currently on the banners we have if you want dupes. For most people, however, dupes are not necessary. Reminder that dupes in this game are a luxury rather than something you actually need, right? Like, they are not mandatory by any means. Let me go a little bit here. There we go. So they are not mandatory by any means, but it is nice to get, obviously, if you can, for raids, for campaign, for tower pushing, for everything. Now, I say also that for Alec and for Miss Marcy, a base copy is more than enough. But at the same time, you know, we all like our MLB background, so it is hard to not MLB Miss Marcy or even Elec. Elec has a really good background as well. So I can understand why people would go for the MLB, but if you care about performance and meta, I would recommend going instead for for Cindy for sure, right? For sure. That's it. We're almost done with this. Which, by the way, if you can do a full clear with an off-element character, that's pretty funny. Not gonna lie. I think at this point we have enough strong DPSs on neutral that you can clear a lot of the anomaly interceptions with them and still get pretty good performance time. At time it's, you know, almost 3 minutes still, but hey, it's a full clear on Harvester. We don't complain about that. So Harvester is done. This single damage comparison between our Dorothy Serendipity, the second strongest water DPS on a water boss, where she can actually get pretty good results, versus Cinderella, a machine gun form on not her own element. And once again, 1.9 versus 1.8. And yes, the combat power difference, obviously, it's a 156 versus 174, but still, this is a neutral DPS versus the second strongest water DPS in the game. Even if you put Snow White, it's not a huge difference. It's like less than a billion difference. Like, it's a really strong character. That's why 100%, guys, if you want dupes, it's going to be Cindy, okay? If you want a ticket, I will ticket a copy of Doro. And then if you have some element that is your main, either iron or water, you can go for the MLB on either of them, but it's expensive, all right? It's an expensive summer currently. You can go for a copy of each, and that's also more than enough. The MLB, it's kind of like a luxury as well, or if you're a tryhard, right? But if you're a tryhard, you are going to have to MLB most of the characters currently in the game on, you know, if it's a seasonal or a 1% or a limited unit, you will want to MLB all of those characters if you get about rates. That said, that's everything for this one, honestly, when it comes to the current priority for the characters and what I will be going for. If you guys are interested on their builds and how to properly build them, the website has been updated for Elec and for Doro to make sure everything is up to date. And also you guys have already Cinderella and Miss Marcy in there. The final verdict for Miss Marcy will be in a couple days most likely, but nothing will change on the tier list. Most likely, like 99% sure, she will remain a tier 2 character because she does have some drawbacks when it comes to neutral content and outside of iron, right? So that's it. That's everything for this one. As usual, good luck with your pool dinner dates, and I'll see you on the next one.